Fridays, I always try to get out to breakfast real quick in the morning, so.
Nice. Where do you go?
You know, well, the last 2 weekends, we've been up to 3 kids in Jim Park.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, I'm, 3 minutes from there and stuff like that. But I can't talk bad about, I'm starting to go live right now, so I can't talk bad about it. I'll just talk about the good
Yeah,
points.
but that's like Yelp.
Oh, yeah, right, no, you're right, yeah.
We ready, Tom?
Yes, we're ready. This meeting is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes of March 12th meeting.
Anybody need coffee or tea? Everybody okay?
I guess so.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Need an approval to pay the bills?
Make a motion to approve the bills. Pending any questions?
I'll second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner?
All right, well, thank you guys, appreciate you being back out here again this month. I have a few things, and I'm not looking at the agenda, Dave, so I may bring up some things and just let me know if it's on the agenda further down, and I won't even mention it.
Okay.
But 2 sessions ago, I did ask the Parks and Recreation Commission to consider a Carbon County Resident Day.
That's gonna be the first
That's on
item.
the agenda?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Dave, and we did agree, the board, the commission did recommend, the internship, position. We initially hoped to use the SLIP funding. We do know that that disappeared. Then the funding came back for only possibly 2 SLIP interns. However, I did get, communication from our Career Link office. They do have funding available to support an intern. Dave, I sent to you the paperwork.
Yeah, I have it
for
here.
that. All right, and that was from Sam Hellener, from Career Link on there.
I got a question on that.
Yes,
How much are you paying this person?
that person, the plan is to bring them up to, and that's another topic, up to a minimum of $11.16 per hour. Now, the internship program doesn't pay that, but what I will do is, once we get the actual rate from Career Link, I'll go to the Board of Commissioners and recommend that the county fill that gap. So if the program is paying 10, I'll make the motion to add $1.16 to that, so we get them up to a minimum. If you would have seen the salary board of last week, we raised the rates for every seasonal worker here at Mock Chunk Lake Park to a minimum of $11.16. It was below that, so everyone is at least at that level.
And who's gonna train this person?
That individual, it depends on, they're selected. The ultimate responsibility for day-to-day mentoring, guidance, and direction is the park director. It falls upon him.
Is he gonna have enough time to do that?
Well, the hope is, through the selection process, he hires an individual or brings on an individual who demonstrates maturity enough that with minimal guidance, broad left and right limits, in accordance with the duty description, the job position, they can carry out their duties and responsibilities. It's about who you hire at the end of the day.
All right.
I know there was a discussion, kayak racks. Is that for discussion today on the agenda, Dave?
No, not today.
Yeah, so I guess I wonder, I know it was brought up by Earl, seemed like a pretty good idea, and there was a lot of interest in getting some kayak racks out there, and actually getting them out there in an expedited way. That is, there was a demand, let's seriously look at getting some kayak racks out there, and I thought, at least implied was, let's really consider about doing it now and not waiting another season. So I'd like to know, what is the status, or what is the real feelings on that the kayak racks, which if I understood would actually go out to B, because A is already kind of, call it crowded or max use there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it just gets down to getting time, right?
At this point of the year, yeah, like, the main thing right now is getting the park up and running.
Yeah.
We turned the water on this week to get the bathrooms,
Yeah.
they're winterized. We got to put all the valves in, and the guys were explaining everything to me, today where they're at with getting the water turned on. We did that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because the water had to get tested on Thursday. We do have the docks to put in. We did get the boat rental dock in yesterday. They're putting the fishing pier in today, and then we have to get both of the boat launch docks in. We did lose one of our seasonal maintenance workers, unfortunately resigned, and also the other seasonal maintenance worker, one of the other seasonal maintenance workers that we have, unfortunately right now is dealing with a medical condition. So and it sounds to me, I talked to him just the other day, it sounds to me like he's going to be out for a little while here. So we're not going to have him for a while. We have one seasonal maintenance worker and two full-time maintenance workers. And right now the focus is getting the park up and running. Next week we'll clean the bathrooms and the shower facilities for the start of camping season. There's a number of items on the maintenance board that we have, including clearing the brush along the shoreline at Boat Launch B. We have to jump back to the shoreline trail at some point. The food stand, I know we talked about, there's doors that need to be repaired.
Yeah, given all of that, Chris, back at you, is there any county resources that could help us out?
What do you mean resources? By people?
To install because I agree, and in fact, I have a kayak, I'll support the process, but it's a revenue generator, we would get it filled up pretty quick. The case is, as Dave's saying, it's a resource, a human resource issue, but if we can pirate somebody to...
Well, tell me how many man hours you need. You tell me how many man hours you need. I'll go back to the maintenance director.
First, Dave, I think Missy did some research on purchasing them, so it comes down to what style do we want, and then it comes to installing, right?
Yeah, she did look at the different ones that you assemble, the metal ones, and they are expensive. And our thought was, with the lumber and if our guys would build it, which they can't right now, but once we get the park up and running and we get some people hired, then when we get through the initial maintenance stuff that we have to get done every year, prior to opening, not just the camping season, but the swimming area. There's a lot that goes into opening the swimming area, with getting the ropes in and, adding sand to the beach and just to prep the beach area. But, I was thinking by then we should have additional help and, then get to it. But, then you're talking June. I mean, we did start a waiting list, for the mooring spaces. So we have a waiting list and people ready to go. I just can't give you a time frame on when we can get the work done. But we were looking at, having the guys build like wooden racks so it matches and blends in with the surroundings better.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should purchase it, get it on site, and, I don't see it taking more than 8 hours to assemble it and install it.
What do they run?
Have you looked at different, I mean, I'm sure we could purchase a wooden one.
I'll go back, take that back to Missy to see if she can find
If
something
we
that,
have it on site, then as soon as we have some time, we could at least get the holes dug and the main supports in, and then, it would take a couple hours a day to assemble it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing you did. Buy them, have them in stock, and whenever
Yeah.
you get the time,
Right.
you can
be ready to
do
go.
it, yeah.
And I mean, the county does have an auger, so, for
Yeah,
digging
right.
post holes and stuff
Right.
like that, for getting concrete in. and
And I know the people on the waiting list, I know if it's June, they'll take it. I mean, they're a hot item.
Well,
So, I mean, that was kind of the plan, is at least get through what we need to get through here initially, and then, have our guys, put them in. And we were talking 3, so that would be 16, because it starts at 17 at Boat Launch B. We just don't have the time right now, to commit to it.
do we need a motion to purchase something like that? or-
Well, it's gonna have to go to the board for action. What would happen, they'd make a recommendation to purchasing, right?
And it will go to the commissioners for
Right, yeah,
for
ultimately
approval.
it would come to
Yeah.
us, and again, it depends on what it actually costs, if it's under the bid threshold, which I'm assuming it would be.
Oh, I don't think there
Yeah,
would
it'd
be
be-
that much.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, we might
Yeah.
not have to do anything, but we'd still look for, basically, someone who's under contract with the states in the system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, we just need the information. Again, if the this advisory commission says, hey, we wanna move forward with it, well then let's go ahead and move forward. If not, that's fine also. But again, let's be decisive, let's make a decision, let's move forward or let's kill it,
Let's do it. I'm all for it.
So that's on that. Dave, update on, contactless pay system, for the park?
IT hasn't been out yet. I did reach out to Jerry a
Okay.
couple of times, and I believe they were supposed to be out last week. And I reached out to him yesterday, I think it was. He said they would be out sometime next week. I
Yeah.
believe Monday, he said.
Yeah.
And possibly that they were tied up with an issue at 911, but we're on the list, and he's getting closer to us.
Okay, great, because it was brought up last meeting, about going to contactless pay. We're already going to credit card payment, kind of reducing the amount of cash that people have to be in contact with. I do know, IT is on top of it, and like you said, Dave, they're looking to get out here as early as Monday. They are in a conversation with, I guess, whoever does our credit card processing right now about the contactless pay system. So that kind of falls back into, again, we're going to a new pay system for beach entry. Need to be thinking about the training dates associated with that.
Mhm.
Because you have individuals who may not be familiar or comfortable with the technology that's gonna be employed. And as I mentioned last month, it's not Memorial Day weekend, and we're trying to train people in the heat of battle, right? You gotta train them, prepare them, previous to that.
Well, you gotta get them up here soon, because some of those people are as old as me.
Right.
And they're,
Yeah,
they're not that savvy on that stuff.
yeah, and again, it is, and we went through this with parking enforcement here just in the last couple of months. They're all going to these handheld automatic license plate readers and all this new software. But again, took a little bit of time, but they're all picking it up. And they're of the same generation that many of our seasonal workers are also. So again, I don't think it's a hill too hard to climb, but it's gonna take an investment in bringing those folks together. In regards to training and education, we do have a responsibility, the Board of Commissioners, to ensure we're providing our employees the training and education to meet our expectations. We are making a concerted effort in coordination with Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau and Carbon Chamber to ensure that our county employees who regularly interact with the public have the training to ensure that they represent the county in the best light possible. We're looking at May 18th and 19th for a training for our county personnel, specifically parking and parks, individuals who have regular contact with the public. Dave, I'll send you a synopsis of that training. It's a 2-hour block of training with actual scenarios built in to how to deal with the public, how to resolve conflict when it arises when you're dealing with the public. Just like when there's a line, halfway out down the Lentz Trail, the park might have limited access to non-county residents. So how do folks interact with that? Again, it's about really changing the mentality of some of our employees to more like ambassadors. I know it sounds kind of corny, the term, but that is the fact what we're trying to do. Again, customer service oriented, make it a better experience for everyone, or optimize the experience. So Dave, I'll send you the details on that. We need to talk through how we're going to bring in as many people as possible, even if we have to adjust the date and time for that training. All right.
Who's doing the training, Chris?
L-Tri-C, Maureen Donovan from L-Tri-C is the coordinator for it, for
Okay.
the training. I just got really a syllabus for it yesterday, an email. I just didn't have time to forward it because we were just reviewing it at the time.
Yeah, if I could see that, I'd love it.
Yeah, well, I'll send it to Dave, and Dave can get it out to all of you. That's what I would
Yeah.
expect. And then, next month we can have the conversation about it and stuff. That'd be great. Dave, in June, I'm not gonna set a firm date, just like I did last year. I'm gonna wanna meet maintenance, lifeguards, rangers, all separately. We could set aside about 45 minutes to an hour just so I can come out, have a conversation, kind of get a sense of the community, how they think things are doing, what their recommendations are. Again, just to keep in contact with all those guys and gals who do such a great job out here. Status of the pavilion.
As far as
Completion.
they just have to bring all the scaffolding and everything back.
Okay, so it's done.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe it is. Yeah, I
Okay,
mean the roof
all
and
right, yeah,
everything's
I
done.
didn't know. I know the scaffolding's still up there. That is a big one. All right, scaffold, good. Now that'll be good because obviously that's been a challenge too.
No, that'll be
with
ready to rent.
personnel and stuff like that, getting that done. That's great. All right. Contact us, pay. Resident Day, we're gonna talk about. Anything for me that I need to directly communicate back to Commissioners Nostein and Arner?
I don't know if this falls under that category, Chris, but the litter along the roads, who's responsible for that? The PennDOT?
The state, if it's the state highway, yeah. If not, it'd be a municipality.
I mean, there's mattresses and everything laying on the White Bear Hill and, along the road here, I saw.
Okay.
Can we send, I guess it would be Jerry Knowles? And
Well, that's for Summit Hill
Right.
and Doyle Heffley. Now, PMVB does have a anti-litter program, and, I don't know if Marlon specifically mentioned it when she was here last month, but they do have a program to include providing the signage, potentially help arranging some activities or actions to take care of some of that.
Cause it's looking hard.
Lentz Trail, I know, is adopted by somebody, through that Adopt a Highway.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was just last week, there was bags. Now, I don't know how far down, they went, but, I know I started noticing bags from in and around the park all the way towards Jim Thorpe. But it was, I noticed the bags on it would be on the north side of the road, but both sides look pretty clean going that way, so maybe they just didn't get down this way yet.
That's the bad, the White Bear Hill.
The White Bear Hill going up.
And
So
that's a
going up to
safety-
Summit Hill.
Yeah, that's a safety issue.
Well, that's out of the park, so in this venue, I won't, kind of discuss that. That's outside of park boundaries,
Yeah.
right? It's not contiguous.
Well, you were
to
looking
them.
for something to communicate with.
Yeah, no, okay,
I
no.
think that.
Well, that is part of the Pocono, so what
Yeah,
I can do is
yeah,
go
it's-
back to,
it's a-
definitely, I can give PennDOT a call, and then I'll talk to PMVB and see what they're doing with their anti-litter program. I do have one alibi. Dave, I had a request, a concern, right where Easton White Bear is, coming down, going to Bugsy's, at the branch there. that when you're heading out to White Bear, that when you're at the stop sign, you can't see
Right.
vehicles approaching coming down Bugsy's. And the request was, can we set something up to have some clearing done to create a better line of sight to help reduce, a risk of accidents, enhance the safety.
At the base of the mountain here?
It's
or-
right on the corner, if you just head out to the intersection.
Oh, this one here?
Southwest corner.
Yeah.
If you're traveling east, you can't see the
Yeah.
curve,
Okay.
you come around pretty quick there.
And that is lake property and that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I checked the parcel.
Down here at the where
Yeah.
Lentz Trail meets 902.
Yeah,
And it's right on the corner there, there's brush.
yeah.
Well, it's trees too.
Yeah.
Would be a little bit of,
I guess I'll go down and look at it, but where's the brush, where's the problem with seeing cars?
Well, when you stop, right, if you
And you're
stop
looking left.
according to the legal requirement to stop at the stop sign, that line of sight is impeded, when you're looking towards Bugsy's.
With branches hanging over?
Right, and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I've not been back out there in a week or two, but, I
Right.
kind of observed that after,
Yeah,
I received the call. So if we could look at that and then,
yeah, that won't take long.
yeah, okay, let us know. Again, you got a lot of other priorities,
Mhm.
but if we can at least look at that, and then that would be great.
yeah, before the leaves get on the trees, you'd be able to get in there easier and.
Is it like branches, Earl, or trees,
It
or?
might be one or two trees, Dave, but I guess mostly, the branches.
Yeah, so if you do a good pruning,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't really, looked at it to see. I mean, I know you can't see, but I don't know if it's brush or is it some trees. I think some trees need to go.
Any chance of sending any county workers up there?
well, I'll tell you what, the thing is, it's not that we couldn't. Again, I need a scope of work, right? What needs to be done, more or less how many man hours, and again, we look and prioritize. I will tell you, Tom, you're hitting actually upon a really important issue, that there have been some discussions about, right? We actually have 3 different maintenance entities in the county, right? You have the prison, you have, the main maintenance for the annex to courthouse, and then you have out here. So there is a lack of synchronization and coordination, because there isn't one maintenance director. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if I had a magic wand today, there would be one maintenance director, and all 3 maintenance entities would ultimately report to that maintenance director, so that you could more easily share and resources and synchronize and coordinate the overall maintenance here in the county. It is problematic.
Why don't you work on that?
We are actually, Tom, to be honest, we are. Again though, just like out here, sometimes things just turn really, really slow. There are also union issues, right? Because we have, as a matter of fact, we have different unions involved in that also.
But we, like he said, we got 3 men here,
Right,
and there's a lot of work here for 3 men.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could hire a floating guy, as needed here or there, he can go from, but like you said, are they union downtown?
Yes,
So
yeah, except for the director. Yeah, now we just did hire, right, or we're out being advertised right now, we have one out for hire. We've had one, we're changing one from a carpenter to an electrician billet, and that will go back out. Again, that's been a vacant position for the longest time, and that one will be going out also. But again, just as much work as there is here in the park, there's that much work downtown. I mean, the guys are going constant. I can't get a light bulb change. Not that I'm adverse to doing it myself, but again, things like that, they definitely are overwhelmed, and it's no doubt out here is a similar problem.
Was Mike Savagassi, wasn't he in charge of that?
Wasn't
Larry.
that previously? That's
Oh.
Larry Sinicola.
Oh, Larry's.
Larry, and doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But again, you tell me you need assistance out here, I'll go to Larry and say, Larry, can you work to fit that in the schedule to get an additional body out here? Just like it used to be in the winter, right?
Mhm.
Your guys would go down and help out down there. Need to reciprocate that.
Mhm.
Especially now for startup, to get the
Yeah.
park going.
I think one or two of them are out here today actually helping with get the fishing pier in.
Yeah.
You know, so we need extra hands to do that. So
Yeah,
they're out here
yeah,
helping
yeah.
out.
Like I said, it's all about asking. If you don't ask, you know, I don't know what to advocate for you guys. All right, that's all.
We're asking.
You're asking, yep, just tell me when, how much, right? The who, what, when, where, why, the 5 Ws.
Install a kayak rack and trim the brush on the
In
intersection.
that order, right?
All right, let me know when the kayak rack is coming in, let me know when you scope it, yeah, we're good. We're good, thank you.
Dave, while I'm talking about the, last year, you know, I do a lot of fishing down there, I was just talking to people, and they were complaining about where the cement, that are currently protecting the pier, the cement blocks, and they were saying, oh, it was great until they put them here. I didn't know what their complaint was, but it was, you know, where the fire hose goes in, you just have it. Is there any rhyme or reason, or have you heard any complaints about the placement of?
No, where the dry hydrant is, you mean?
Yeah.
I-
Because, I mean, they were just placed around there. I didn't see it hindering anything, but I talked to a few people, they were complaining about it, I didn't get it.
Complaining about the dry hydrant or the
The
pad?
blocks, the blocks.
Is that the blocks they put the pier on?
Exactly,
Is that where it's
yeah,
stored?
around the pier to protect the pier.
When it's sitting out on dry, out of
Yeah,
the
well,
water?
Yeah.
once it's out, the blocks are to the left of the dock there.
That's kind of just to protect the.
Yeah, it
protect the
made sense
dock.
to me, I didn't know
Yeah, somebody
why
runs
people were
into it, knocks
complaining
it off
about it.
there.
And I-
Yeah, and then when they put the docks in, then they got to move them so that the Fish and Boat Commission wants them in a certain place so that people are using the ramps rather than.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was just, I guess, a singular complaint, one or two complaints. So didn't make any sense to me, they looked fine.
I have a question on this payless system. So I take it, they're gonna drive up to the booth, hand your guy the card, he's gonna scan it, and then hand the card back to him.
Not on the contactless
Yeah, I'm not
system.
sure how it
Not
works.
in a contactless system. There'll be a little device, they put their phone up near it, boom, it's done. That's
Okay,
it.
what about the person that don't have a phone?
Then they can use a credit card. And then if they don't have a credit card, they can pay cash.
Do you think Memorial Day would be the right day to test this system? We have to forget about last year. I already had this conversation with him. We have to forget about last year. We have to go back 2 years ago to when at 9 o'clock in the morning, cars are lined up from the gate all the way down to the boat launch, around the boat launch, and back up the hill. And I don't know on a busy weekend if that's going to be the right time to test run this system.
No, it needs to be done prior, and that's what I've said 2 months in a row now, right? This system, the people need to be trained, need to run rehearsals prior. I mean, it's just like anything. You don't go into battle without rehearsal, right? And Memorial Day, you call it a battle, right? You practice, you rehearse, you train, you get ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, you can do. I think you can do some training leading up to Memorial Day, but I don't think you can fully train something. I don't think it's going to be, perfect by any means. I
Well,
mean,
no,
it may,
it's gonna, you know what, it'll be halfway through the summer before it's
And that's-
even close.
yeah, I think it's going to be a learn as you go type of a process. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be, implemented perfectly Memorial Day.
No, I mean, we're still learning how to do the kiosk system. It's
Right.
gonna take another 3 months.
Maybe they should have a checklist in the booth that if this fails, this is your next step, that's your next step, so they know what to do and they're not wondering what is my next move. Your card won't scan, well, then you gotta pay cash. Well, we don't have cash, now what do we do?
And we'll do what the turnpike does and have easy pay.
Yeah.
Instead of
Right.
the cash only lane.
Well, that would be nice.
I mean, what do people do right now when they come into Bach Chunk Lake Park and they pull up and say, I only have a credit card? What do the people tell them to do?
Well, they send them through and
That's
they're
right.
off.
So
to the
again, you're
office.
just applying similar tactics, techniques, and procedures to a little bit different of a situation. So instead of having to go up to the park office and scan your credit card, you're doing it at the booth, right? And that keeps things going.
Or we could be like Tommy's and put an ATM next to the booth.
Sure you could, you know? Yeah. But there is no good time, there's never a good time for change. That's what most people will tell you. So what does that mean? The time to do change is now, you know? And again, and I apologize, and I don't apologize. The reality is I'm someone who comes from a life of change, right? Every year, every 2 years. And I understand other individuals have difficulties and challenges with that. But sometimes you gotta jump in the water, you gotta tread a little bit of water, you gotta suck in a little bit of water, but we don't let people fail, right? Because we have contingencies, we have branch plans, sequels, everything that's necessary. If you're not comfortable with something, come to me, I'll provide you my expertise, my background, my experience to help these guys be successful when they're sitting in that booth. If I need to be out there shoulder to shoulder with them for 4 hours, I'll take that time away from my family and my life, and I'll be out there with them to help ensure we're successful. You know, soapbox done. You know.
Park operations.
Okay, County Resident Day, so we were asked to make a decision on what we wanted to do with County Resident Day. We did discuss it, and, you know, thinking about it, I mean, once a week, I think, was the idea to have a County Resident Day only, where we'd allow county residents only, and non-county residents would not be able to come in. That will be once a week. I think the discussion, the talk was a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday. You know, in thinking about it, we have non-county residents utilizing the beach area if they purchase a membership. We have non-county residents using the beach area if they're camping with us. We have non-county residents using the beach area if they, say, rent a pavilion where their guests are coming in. So in thinking about it that way, is it truly a county resident only day? You know, why would we turn away people once a week at the gate when there's already non-county residents utilizing the beach area?
Was that every week we were talking about?
I think it was
1 week.
one week, and then it got into every week, and I think that I weighed in with Dave and said, you know, either have 1 day a month, for 3 months, or just 1 day, you know, for a year.
Kind of like a county
Not every
appreciate.
week.
I don't think we should do it at all.
I agree.
For as little bit as it costs to get in there, I don't think we should.
And I'm all right with that, Tom, too.
We shouldn't
Yeah.
do it at all, I
I'm all
don't
right
think.
with that, so.
I mean, how many people come in the middle of the weekend?
Well, that will be another thing too. You know, it's you don't get nearly as many non-county residents, you know, coming during the week as opposed to weekends and weekends. And let's face it, you know, there's a lot of costs in operating the park. I mean, a substantial amount of expenses.
The upside would be, you know, is in the ambassadorship, you know, you would get publicity on it and the like, but the downside is there's people paying all the time, you know, and, you know, it's kind of like an open house is what we would be doing. So it's what's the benefit? The benefit is publicity for the park, county day, but revenue-wise or anything, you know, if we tested it, we can test it and see what happens for 1 day. But I'm only seeing the upside being the publicity, having an open.
How would a resident see the benefit though? So you're talking from a park revenue generation, but
Yeah,
what does
I'm
it mean to a
talking
resident?
about park loyalty
Yeah.
and the like, the
Yeah.
people who are paying all the time.
Yeah.
I did this for years with
Yeah.
newspaper subscriptions. You got the people paying,
Right,
you know, all the time, and then you have special offers. Why don't I get the special
Yeah.
offer? You know?
Yeah, and there was some concerns too, just putting the park rangers maybe in a bit of an awkward predicament
Right,
where,
right.
you know, somebody was here the previous week on a Monday, and the following week it's a Wednesday, it's County Resident Day, and I know we talked about trying to get the word out, but a lot of these people are non-county residents, whether it's, you know, New Philadelphia or, you know, Schuylkill County, Lehigh County, Northampton County. They've been coming here for years and years and years, you know, they just know of the park. Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, I know we talked about messaging and them helping with messaging. they would help us as far as discovering us, but the people that come back year after year, non-county residents, they've already discovered us. And, that was another concern was, possibly somebody coming on a Tuesday and then the next week came on a different day and they had to be turned away. Yeah, and rather than...
The only way we get around that is if they come and we let everybody in, they're paying, but if somebody is a county resident, then they're not paying, And I think the workload might be more heavier than the benefit, in doing it at all. But I would say if we did it, we just do it one day in the summer and it would just be for ambassadorship to the park. And it would probably be early in the season, and we would hand them a membership
application. Right.
So you're suggesting one day in the summertime, June?
Yeah.
Sometime in June?
Early June, and we would get publicity for it.
And it would be like a county resident appreciation day.
And that would be just like the pandemic, they would show their...
When is the safety fair?
That's, I don't think they're having that this year.
I was gonna say, that might be a good day.
No,
we get a request for it.
That's
normally
that's usually
before park opens,
right.
too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What is the Independence Festival? What is that, the sign that's up there at the train station now? Jim Thorpe Festival. You didn't see it?
No.
I didn't either.
Oh, really? I noticed it yesterday.
No, that's the film festival. That's
Oh.
going on, that's Mock Chunk Opera House.
Oh, it's
which
at
is
the
a
Opera
yearly
House,
event.
okay.
Yeah, that's,
I
the
didn't know.
Independent Film Festival.
Okay, now that makes sense.
There is an Earth Day, but I don't know what they're doing to recognize Earth Day.
You used to be involved pretty much with Earth Day, weren't you?
No.
Are we gonna take a vote on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob.
On a county resident?
Yeah.
If that's the recommendation, I didn't get it. There was no recommendation.
How do you feel, Dave? One way or another, what's your thought?
I mean, I would go along with having a county appreciation day. We'll pick a day in June where we welcome county residents and
So I'll make a motion that we select a day in June for open house, kind of for county residents. Not on a weekend.
no, like a weekday.
I don't see it, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on that.
I'm a no.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I could go either way.
I'd like to just, I don't see the benefit.
Is there a second to that motion?
I don't think so. And that's okay.
No second?
I'll rescind the motion.
Okay.
So that means there's no county resident day, right?
Not this year.
Okay.
No. So under the COVID-19 mitigation, I know the last meeting we talked, I think we wound up deciding that we were going to cap the beach area capacity at 600. That's where we left off last year. So we figured we would start off this year by, having it at 600, limiting it to 600 people. See how the season goes, see how the pandemic is going, watch the numbers, and maybe adjust accordingly to provide allow for a little bit more people to come in. So we will watch that. So start the season off, limiting it at 600 people the way we did last year. With the camping area, I know I mentioned 75% was what we were at last year at the end of the season. The thought was to start off the season at 75%. I did reach out to Hickory Run State Park and a couple other state parks, and they're opening it up to to everybody. They're not limiting the number of campsites they're renting. They're renting, if all their sites, that are available, they're renting them. So I didn't know if we wanted to, think about just opening it up, completely, the campgrounds, and
Pretty spaced out.
Yeah, they're socially distanced.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
right. Yeah, and we're in a much different situation than we were back then.
You want a motion for that?
To open up the campgrounds, and rent all the sites if we can. Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to open up.
I'll second it.
Properly moved and second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, they have mitigation measures for the parks, the state parks, but nothing listed about campgrounds. It says outdoor in-person programs will resume with a limit of 40 participants per program. Volunteer work days will resume with a limit of 40 participants per group. Now, visitor center, exhibit halls, interpretive areas, theaters, they're open with the 75% capacity. But like I said, it didn't mention anything about campgrounds, so I decided to reach out to them to see, what they were doing this year. Masks, are to be worn in in-park offices and visitor centers. We've been doing that. Masks are required in the office, as well as any of the public buildings, like the restrooms and the shower facilities. We're doing additional cleanings again this year. We'll also have signs posted throughout the park reminding people to wear their masks, wash their hands, socially distant. Those signs were placed around, some of our popular, areas, down by the beach, the fishing pier, Boat Launch B. So we'll have plenty of signs, throughout the park reminding people what they could do to stop the spread. And everything else is in place still from last year. We opened the office on this past Monday because of the increase in the amount of visitors coming to the park, coming to the office. And we still have the plexiglass in place, for people who are coming in. We're only allowing 2 people in the office at a time, and people have been, respectful of that. And, staggered entry, coming in and out, 2 people at a time. Masks are being worn. So people have been cooperative, and like I said, we'll get the signs spread out throughout the park. We'll do additional cleanings, any high touch surface areas. And that was it for the COVID-19.
I have a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
When you said you're limiting the beach to 600, that
Yes.
is just the beach, right? I mean, you're not gonna let
Well-
600 people in and close the gate.
It would be we would allow 600 people in, yes.
Okay, that would include people going to the
The
picnic area,
picnic area too.
but not everybody that goes to the picnic area goes swimming, right?
Not really, no. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Right,
Yeah, right.
right.
Sometimes they're there just to picnic for the day.
Right. And that would be the same thing with a person that rents a pavilion and has 50 people come. Those people at the party don't necessarily go to the beach to go swimming.
No, we never really counted the pavilion, because you're right. A lot of the times the pavilion, they're at the pavilion,
Right.
and they're usually there for a birthday party or family reunion, a graduation party. I'm sure some people do go down,
Right.
but not everybody.
Taking that into effect, though, you can't up that 600 coming in because, like I said, not everybody that goes to the pavilions or the picnic area goes swimming.
Yeah, and at the last year, the picnic area was, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but it was completely, barren most of the times.
Yeah, right.
I think most of the people that use the picnic area are the non-county residents. Pavilions, a lot of county residents,
Right.
but the picnic area where they come in and picnic for the day, you get a lot of non-county residents in there. So, yeah, the 600 last year, I don't know if we ever gave that any thought, like as far as the picnic area, but there was.
We talked about both the picnic area and campers.
Yeah.
Part of the mathematics here is
The campers.
Yeah, dry and wet beach, right? A 30, you estimate a third of the people on the beach are actually swimming. So while you're saying 600, 200 of them at any given time are in the water. But we're talking about the physical spacing, social spacing, both on the dry beach and the wet beach. So when you're talking about 600, you're kind of doing a ballpark, understanding that people are going to walk down from camping, right? And they're going to
Utilize
be
the beach.
swimming. again, it's not a science, it's more of an art of trying to figure, what is 600?
What's the right balance?
Yeah, and I think last year you guys did a great job, it was, and again, we didn't come up against any big barriers in numbers, but we were always counting them. The beach was in pretty darn good shape when it came to the number of people, using the limits you put on there. And you had a pretty busy campground the whole time, and people were drifting down.
Yeah, even into the fall.
Yeah, but you're right, it's, again, it's a swag, right? It really is.
And once again, we have to forget about last year, and we
Yeah.
have to look at like what happened here 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
there were days the picnic area, every parking spot in there was taken, they were parking alongside of the road. You had to
Right.
be careful when you were leaving.
Right, well, that's historically a part of a problem here, right? We're basing filling the lake up or the park up based upon the number of parking spots. That's not how you do it. You base it upon the capacity of the recreational activity, the beach. So the parking lot may hold 500 cars, averaging 3 people a person, 1,500. We don't want 1,500 folks on that beach. So you do have to regulate the flow in of the count based upon paying beach swimmers, give a little bit for campers who are gonna come down, and like the pavilions. But again, like you're saying, this is gonna be like 2 years ago, not last year, right?
And going by that, let's take your 500 cars, for example,
Yeah.
that go into the picnic area.
Yeah,
It would be safe to say that not all 500 of those people are going swimming.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So you're asking for consideration to bump the 600 up?
Correct, to bump the 600 up.
How do we keep track of the people leaving the beach area?
You can't.
You know,
Yeah, so it's a constant.
But you could
flow.
see, you could visualize, look at the parking lot, and you know that cars have left.
Dave,
but-
how many times have we hit the cap?
We didn't hit it at all, actually, and there was a lot of times where we were under by quite a bit, but then keep in mind that was just with county residents. I don't know what that means with non-county residents.
And if the water quality of Beltsville would deteriorate, and we get an inflow from,
Right,
then we'd have to.
Beltsville.
Well, Commencing Township is already getting ready for the Beltsville surge.
Right.
Yeah, that was in the paper yesterday.
Yeah.
I read that.
Yeah.
How many people were you thinking, Bob?
I don't, what, it'd be safe to go up another 100?
What is full capacity? Really don't know.
you know, based upon my calculations, it's just over about 1,100. Just over about 1,100. Now that's given consideration that each individual gets 36 square feet, 6 by 6, right? So that's somewhat pseudo-pandemic spacing, right? Now I will tell you, if you look at community planning for beaches, they actually say 50 square feet per person. You know, all the documents I could find for planning a beach for a community. So we're actually a little bit tighter, and the numbers, again, I'm primarily using Dry Beach for Mock Chunk Lake Park, about 1,100 individuals.
Well, the guidelines are at 75% right now, correct?
That's, well, that 700 mark, again, that 700 mark, again, in my numbers, is closer to the 75%. What Dave and the guys did last year and the folks was perfect. It really was. You know, Dave, I think you probably used 800 as 100%. Is that what it was last year, or what did you?
Oh God, I
can't
don't
But
remember.
again, you know, I think it was about that, a little bit less, but that was fine because we didn't have the demand.
I mean, whether that was right or wrong, I mean, it was just a big.
It worked.
It's.
It worked, Dave. So it was right. It worked.
But I do agree that, you know, if there was nobody in the picnic area, so if some of these people are now coming in, they're going to be going to the picnic area. They're not even
Right.
going to be at the beach.
Right,
And that's your thought in thinking that we could,
right,
you know,
exactly,
increase the numbers.
right.
The general consensus is people are ready to come out, and they may come in.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna come in groves this year. Exactly, because look at how many cars you turned away last year every day from out of state. I mean, it was an ongoing affair.
Right.
7 days a week you were turning people away.
Yeah, a hard thing to do to turn people away, whether they're county or non-county residents. I
Especially
mean,
with a carload of children
Yeah.
ready to go, and you're gonna ruin their day.
so you think 700,
Yeah. And see how it goes from there.
and then maybe adjust it.
Right.
Well, make the motion.
I make a motion on that. 700 people for the picnic area and beach.
I'll second that.
Properly moved and seconded. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Park maintenance.
We talked about the seasonal maintenance already. I gave you an update there. We had one that unfortunately resigned, and the other one has a medical condition. So we're down to just one seasonal maintenance worker. He is working on all the cabins. He's just about through all the cabins, cleaning them on the inside, outside. So by the end of today, he'll have the cabins cleaned, and then next week he'll move to the the restrooms to start getting the restrooms and shower buildings prepared for camping season, which would start next Friday.
Is Jimmy Comet's back?
Yeah, yeah, he's the one that's working on everything.
All right.
Dave, do you have an update on the prison labor?
Yeah, I have that listed here. We have the while the seasonal maintenance is working on the cabins, or excuse me, the showers and restroom facilities. The plan is to have our full-time staff bump back to the food stand just to finish up what we need to finish up there. There's the back door that needs to get fixed, the screen door. We also have to put a new serving window in. We have the serving window. We got to get the doors, and then we need to do some touch-up work inside yet, and then that's ready to go for the new concessionaire. Boat rental dock fishing pier is going in today. The other docks probably the beginning of next week we'll get the other boat docks in. Maybe even have time for it today. Actually, I didn't really get to talk to Jack too much this morning, but might have the docks done today.
I have a question, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
The new oil burner, how'd that perform last winter?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I mean, we didn't have any problems or anything with it.
And we haven't really tested our grinders yet because we don't have any flow.
Well,
I haven't seen that on there.
the pump stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing we gotta do next week is, they have to,
Give them a dry run.
yep,
Make
yeah,
sure
just to make sure that we're not having any problems. So, probably the main shower building and start with the main shower building and then work back. There's one at the middle restroom, what we call a restroom in the picnic area, and then there's actually four down at the beach area. So yeah, that would be, and sometimes they might need something minor. Sometimes it might be a major where we need to buy a new pump. But yeah, that'll be done, early next week. And they'll do that once they get the water up and running, and that's one of the next things that they do for opening for the season, is make sure that the pump stations, the grinder pumps are working. Work release, then I would get work release requests, one or two. I would have to free up, probably one of our full-time maintenance workers would have to be there with the person. I don't know if they're providing supervision. I didn't really get a clear answer on that, or transportation. It would be helpful if we did have transportation, because it would save us time from picking them up and then taking them back at the end of the day. I know when we had the work release in the past, they dropped them off, in the morning, and then they would come back and pick them up, at roughly in and around 3 o'clock.
You need to reach out to Frank Schubeck.
Right. Yeah. And they had dropped them off. Frank had dropped them off in the past. So what we have planned for the work release is to go through and clean out all the hibachis in the picnic area, clean out the fire rings in the campgrounds, and also shoreline trail. There's quite a bit of rhododendron yet that needs to get cleared back, cut back, the section that we were working on.
It's looking good, I walked it through there.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate that we got that much snow this year because we would have, we would have had it done and but
One
what
of the new bridges going, east, or west, I'm sorry, from the sawmill had been damaged, with the board cracked out in the middle.
one of the plastic ones.
Yeah, I don't know what, either a tree branch hit it or, but it snapped right in the middle.
There's probably one or 2 days worth of just cleaning up, general cleanup in the park where we could, a prisoner would be helpful. Like there's piles of down tree limbs in the park. Down by the extension office, there's a big pile.
Maybe I could take a look at that board though, because if somebody's foot goes through there,
Yeah, I'll have them look at it. Or
Plus it may give someone an idea to break another board if they see one broken. The broken window theory, See one broke, you gotta.
we work release also for work release would be we got to get the gates painted. They're looking kind of that hasn't been done in a while. The main gate and the exit gate. We did get 2 new private hibachis to install at the Ginder Vermilion and Cuck Wildowner Pavilion. That really needs to get done before we rent out those pavilions. The bottom of it is just burned through. There's holes in it, so we did get new pavilions or new hibachis for the larger hibachis for the pavilion. So we want to get them put in before we rent those pavilions. And then the shoreline trail, we also have to get back. We do have to finish repairing a few boards there and finalizing the one section that we were restoring.
Anything on the switchback trail? Are we gonna move forward on
Fixing a section?
fixing the,
Yeah, at some point, yeah. Which will probably, it's going to be tough to do anything now with the amount of
right.
traffic on the trails, but we do have it in the budget, for another section of switchback trail.
And the activity with that new landowner building a road.
I did mention that to to Commissioner, and I looked at the deed, and I don't know that there's anything that would be a legal issue to determine whether he can go over it or he can't go over it. They go over the bottom one in the
So I don't see.
and the deeds. I looked at the deed, and he has a right of ingress and egress, and including maintaining the road, which includes paving.
So is there a specific issue with it, Earl?
No, he has a Herculean task getting a road up to the top.
Right.
He owns 100 and some acres.
Yeah.
I stop and talk to him.
Okay,
and,
right,
things get ugly before they get nice, and he owns
Sure.
the greenhouses in Bucks County or somewhere in that area, and they do landscaping. And I think if we give him time, he probably would do a decent job with his project. I don't know what his intentions are. Is he gonna build a home up top, or I don't know.
Well, wouldn't it be maybe in our best interest to at least maybe write a letter and say, we'd ask that you, based upon the fact that you have an easement over county property, we'd appreciate if you could, kind of keep us in the loop to, whatever you're doing so that we can work together to ensure our mutual interests are covered and stuff like that.
I did let him know he's on sensitive ground there as far as damaging the trail, and
Yeah.
You can't change the profile or anything like that. He realized that.
Yeah, it's that is, and that's also in the deed. Yeah.
Right. Now they all went across it on the bottom, and they weren't supposed to pave it, I think, originally. And if they did, they had to have a nice approach over the blacktop, as far as they couldn't have a blunt, for a bicycle.
Drop off or
Right, or someone to turn an ankle on it, but everyone crosses the bottom, and I don't see how you could change that for the top. He's the only one that's ever challenged it.
Yeah.
His land is very narrow at the bottom, and then it goes 100 acres up top.
There was other property that was, purchased too across from the, just where the main entrance is.
Well, remember they tried to put a road up there like 30 years ago. They were gonna put trailers on it, up the side of the mountain, and they got flagged on that. But they did tear it in pretty good. It's just been, washing away in the road ever since that. I don't know. So that land's sold again?
Mm.
Oh, Eddie Canick, the 55 acres.
Yeah.
He's planning on developing that. He wants to put home.
Well, I know the county's interested in acquiring property,
Yeah, and our study just got, our draft copy of our study of how to fund, open space, obtaining more open space, purchasing more open space, protecting ag land.
Mm.
The draft report came back last week. We'll be reviewing it between now and Tuesday, send our recommendations back to the drafters of that, and then we'll get a final report published pretty darn quickly. The document is good. I think it's 99.9% good. There'll probably be no substantive changes recommended on that. But that is basically, how can we get the funds to secure and protect additional open space and agricultural land also.
How about as far as asking the farmer to farm getting property? To keep them fields established?
If you reach out to, Carl Miller does he's with the agricultural operations agreement.
Nice open fields, once they get thrown in, that'll be lost.
Yeah, he might be interested in that. I could reach out to him.
I mean, even, I don't know what the lease rate is. Does he just do it? Does he pay a fee for that?
No. No, but the lease agreement would have to be adjusted. You'd have to include those fields. But no, he doesn't pay anything, no.
Maybe he could even store equipment in the barn or something there, farming, just to keep that property maintained a bit.
Yeah, so deteriorating further. Yeah.
We have a number of ranger positions to fill, so, we did post those positions. We did interview, one person yesterday. I sent a recommendation down today for that individual. He would be a Ranger 1. He is the Act 235 certification with the firearms like our other Ranger 1 has. And I had a number of three lifeguard applications actually, 4 actually. One was, he was approved and he's going through the process right now. He has to get to the Human Resources Department. And then there's another 4 that their applications are in and they are pursuing their training. One I believe is going to Bethlehem to the Greater Valley YMCA for her training, and then the others I think are going to wait. I did reach out to Tom Evans with the Lehighton Pool, and he has a certification and recertification planned for the second week of May. So the 4 others that I have, they're planning on, one's going to Bethlehem, Greater Valley YMCA, and the other 3 are planning on attending the Lehighton Pool training. I sent them the information on the clearances because it does take time to get clearances, so that maybe they can get the clearances ahead of their lifeguard training, so that there's time to get them on board for Memorial Day weekend. So we're in a lot better position than we were last year because the trainings weren't available. But right now we have 5 potential lifeguards. One that's already approved, and then the other 4 going through going to go through the training.
Any returning from last year?
They're all returning, yeah. So
okay.
yeah. One I should say, one I'm not sure about, but the main ones are all coming back. Now they will have to get their, some of them will have to get their recertification. One I know did already, and there's the others I think are going to wait until they get home from, usually when they get home from college, early May, they'll be able to get their recertification. And I did let them know too also about the Lehighton pool training, because he was offering recertification too. Mark Janner was signed up for his refresher in defensive tactics. That's April 15th, and then his firearms qualification. I'll be sending a training request down on that today. That's for April 30th. And then the boat, the grant for the boat was approved, so we were able to purchase that boat, a new boat for the park rangers. It's been ordered, so I don't know how soon we'll have it. Things seem to be taking longer for whatever reason with having deliveries. We got the UTV, that was approved, that was ordered. We still haven't gotten it yet, but we're just waiting on it. So we're in the same situation with the boat. And I am looking into railings. There's some additional money available in the Peace Corps grant, and commissioner looked into it, and we are eligible to use that money for railings. Railings that put alongside one side of the dock, to make it easier for people to get in and out of the boats. And that's all I had really for security.
Got any questions? Special activities.
I have the Jim Thorpe Sportsmen's Association. I believe this might be like their 50th annual. They do have their certificate of insurance. It looks like they need Fish and Boat Commission approval. Fish and Boat Commission application was mailed, directly to them. This was never really an issue with the Fish and Boat Commission. I think, like I said, I think this is the 50th annual Jim Thorpe Sportsman's Club Children's Fishing Contest on May 15th. They would be utilizing the section of Switchback Trail there along the creek.
Need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
We have correspondence here. Well, first I have a letter. I have a letter that I received from Tom Phillips and Bob Durr. They're like local individuals who are interested in history. And they would like to, there's an old bridge along 902 that's on park property. I don't know if anybody knows where I'm talking about, or if you know which concrete bridge.
Used to wash my father's car on that bridge when I was...
Okay.
Used to go in there, bucket the water, and put it on the car.
Is that where the 902 used to run?
Yeah, there used to be a hotel in there.
So they were interested in restoring it. They want to go in and stabilize and lessen the damage being done by root systems, enhance the area around the bridge so future generations may view it. Talks about public to enjoy the aesthetics of the bridge's architectural design. So they want to create a designated path to the bridge along with signage that may generate interest with other park visitors. A path to the bridge from the nearby parking lot would serve our needs for access, to get in and out, for clearing the area of any unwanted brush, may also lessen or prevent unwanted vandalism and littering in the area about the bridge as well. Do you want me to just make copies of this and give it to you to take back to?
I know Tom well, and his intentions are always good.
Where's the location? Is that by Redokas?
Yeah, across the road,
Oh, where
a little bit north. Pardon?
Oh, where the parking lot is, it's north of the side
Yeah.
of the parking lot.
North
Yeah.
of the parking lot.
So-
You can see it now at this time of the year if you look back in there.
And what's it bridging?
The old stream,
Just the creek, yeah,
the feeder stream, yeah.
yeah, I'll check it out.
It's a concrete bridge.
So yeah, he's looking to put a path in and just do a little sprucing up of the old
Boy, when
bridge
you
there.
look at a cross section of the creek, where it flows through there, it's hard to imagine, I mean, there is a foot of coal that washed down from the mountain. It used to be a coal breaker going into town. And then there was a washery in Elk Creek, or White Bear, and they actually dredged the coal out of holding ponds that just washed down and sold it for years and years. And that much washed down that creek that when you look at the sides of the creek, there's a foot of coal in there. And it must run, I don't know how far it goes, but it's probably purifying the water, if anything, that they use.
Charcoal.
They use that for, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
But it
get
is
us a
getting
copy of
silted.
that.
Yeah, to take it back with you?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything else?
There's two requests for donations. Looking for a 2-night stay to pair with other activities for this Jim Thorpe Gateway silent auction. Young Mom's fundraising letter was received from Holly Burkhart, Young Mom's fundraising volunteer. Thanks for our conversation. Young Mom's fundraising letter. Let's see what. Trying to see where they're from. Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
That's the mushroom capital of the world.
What do they want?
They're looking for a donation, donating an item or service to the auction. They have a basket, I guess a benefit brunch, basket raffle. Young Moms has encouraged, equipped, and empowered more than 190 teen moms in southern Chester County. Looks like it's May 8th, 2021. Do we want to donate a?
I think that's a little far reaching, but.
I mean, let me ask you a question, a learning question. Do you tend to do this for county entities, organizations only, or do you historically gone beyond?
We go beyond depending on the the organization. EOS Therapeutic Riding, they're in Bloomsburg. We donate a 2-night midweek cabin stay, but some we do, some we don't.
I think that's a good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve.
2 nights during the week.
2-night midweek cabin stay.
I'll second it.
She says here, our family stayed at your campground the night before we went whitewater rafting and absolutely loved it. So she's, yeah.
All right, properly moved and second. Any
Should've
more
read that
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I must have forgot to read it before the meeting, and I was kind of searching for things there. This is another request for a donation. It's from Megan McGrail. Her daughter attends St. Thomas Moore School in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and she is assisting in organizing a basket raffle on April 23rd, 2021. It's a fundraiser for the school. and that's the St. Thomas More School in Allentown.
Who's it from?
Megan McGrail.
Where's she from? What's the address?
There's no address. It's just an email donation request. Somewhere, I guess, around, you know. It looks like her email address says Allentown in it, so I'm assuming Allentown.
What is the St. Thomas?
St. Thomas More School in Allentown. 501c3 charitable organization. She says in the email.
What does
We
she
are a
want?
private Catholic school in Allentown, Pennsylvania. We service a variety of school districts in eastern Pennsylvania. Due to the ever-increasing cost of education, the effects of the global pandemic, and the need to keep quality Catholic education affordable to children of all backgrounds, the contributions of donors like you are invaluable. So it looks like this donation will help fund many exciting programs, including our dedicated STEM program, our outdoor classroom program, and reading programs.
What does she want?
A donation for their basket, for the raffle. Organizing a basket raffle, a donation for another basket raffle.
Is that
Sometimes for schools, we'll donate a family membership for the year that they use as a like for a, you know, one of their items for the basket raffle.
that sounds all right to me.
Is that what you're recommending, Dave?
That's what we would do for like schools usually, like that. And
I'll make that motion to approve.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we did put our flyers in. Just one last thing for the memberships. You know, we touched on not everywhere in Carbon County, but you know, we kind of try to be selective every year where we feel we may pick up applications. And we did add on the top, you know, currently accepting lifeguard applications. You know, just to try to maybe pick up a few other bites there as well.
You could send, if you'd have Missy send that down to the county.
This here.
Yeah, the application, and we'll get it on social media also,
Okay.
okay? Yeah.
Anything else, David?
That's it.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dave, you need to open it up to the media for questions.
I'll open it up to the media for questions.
Yeah.
Would I be able to suggest do a quick interview with Chris and you, Dave?
Sure.
That's a questions that way. Thank you.